My beloved child, tonight is not an ordinary moment, and before you move away from this message, listen carefully, because something quiet yet powerful is already beginning around you. There are nights when the world looks silent, but heaven is moving in ways your eyes cannot yet understand. This is one of those nights. What feels delayed is not forgotten. What feels heavy is not permanent. And what has been pressing on your heart has already been seen long before you tried to explain it. Do not skip this moment, because something huge is waiting for you in the next few minutes. There is a reason your attention has been pulled here right now. Out of all the voices you could hear, you were guided to this one because your spirit needed calm before the next change arrives. For days, maybe even longer, you have carried questions you never fully spoke aloud. You smiled when others looked at you, but inside there were thoughts you kept hidden. Silent battles, unfinished prayers, moments when you wondered if anyone truly understood how tired your heart had become. Yet even in silence, every unspoken word was heard. Tonight, healing is not arriving like noise. It is arriving quietly, like light entering a dark room before anyone notices the window has opened. Stay till the end, because what is being prepared for you does not begin with noise, it begins with peace, and peace often enters before answers do. You thought certain things had already ended. You thought some doors had permanently closed. You believed some emotions would always remain exactly as they are now. But this night carries a different atmosphere. Something inside you is being restored before the visible evidence appears. The weight you have carried has made ordinary days feel longer than they should. Even simple moments have sometimes felt difficult, because your mind kept returning to what was missing, what hurt, what confused you, and what never seemed to change. Yet tonight, there is movement beyond what you can measure. A hidden calm is approaching your thoughts. A deep strength is being returned to your heart. A quiet answer is forming even before you hear it clearly. Do not skip, because many people leave too early and never realize that the next sentence was the one meant especially for them. There are parts of your story you still do not understand, but not understanding does not mean nothing is happening. Some of the greatest changes begin in silence, long before they can be explained. What troubled you recently was not stronger than the peace being prepared now. What tried to drain your energy will not remain forever. What made you doubt your direction will not define your future. Tonight is important because healing is beginning in the place nobody else can see, the place where you almost stopped expecting anything beautiful. Something huge is waiting for you, and it begins where fear has been sitting too long. Even now, while you are listening, certain burdens are losing their grip little by little. You may not feel everything instantly, but something within you is already shifting. This is why you were told to give a few minutes, because these few minutes are not empty, they are carrying something your heart has needed. The pressure you felt yesterday does not have permission to control tomorrow. The memory that keeps returning will not always hurt the same way. The uncertainty ahead is not greater than the peace being sent tonight. Stay till the end, because before this part closes, there is something you need to hear clearly. What looked delayed is still alive, and what seemed distant is closer than you think. You have asked quietly, when will things become lighter? And tonight, the answer begins like this: lighter moments often arrive before you recognize them. They come gently. They enter softly. They do not always announce themselves loudly. Sometimes healing begins while you are still expecting pain. There is a reason this night feels different. There is a reason your attention remains here. There is a reason these words feel close. Because what is touching your life tonight is not random. Do not skip now, because the next part of your journey carries something even deeper, something you were not expecting, something connected to what your heart has almost given up asking for. And before this moment ends, remember this quietly: the night is not empty, the silence is not abandonment, and your story is not standing still. And right here, before you think this moment has already said everything, listen more carefully, because the next few lines carry something your heart may remember for a very long time. There are moments when healing does not arrive after everything becomes perfect. It arrives while questions still exist, while uncertainty still stands nearby, while the heart is still trying to understand why certain chapters took so long to change. Tonight is that kind of moment. Do not skip, because what is happening now is deeper than emotion. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is unfolding quietly, sentence by sentence, as if each word is opening a door you thought had remained closed. There were nights when you tried to rest, yet your thoughts kept returning to unfinished worries. Even when your surroundings became silent, your mind continued speaking. Repeating old memories, unanswered hopes, and moments that left you wondering whether anything was truly shifting. But tonight, something different is entering that same place. A softness is replacing tension. A calm is entering where confusion has stayed too long. A new kind of strength is rising where exhaustion once sat quietly. Stay till the end, because many leave too early without realizing that the next moment carries exactly what they needed most. What you thought was a delay may have been preparation. What looked still may have been quiet movement. What felt hidden may have been carefully protected until the right time. Sometimes the reason nothing made sense earlier is because clarity was not meant for yesterday, it was reserved for this moment, for this night, for this exact pause where your attention is now fully present. Do not skip, because there is something rare about this timing. Out of many voices, many distractions, many directions, you are still here. That means something inside you recognized that this message was not ordinary. There is a part of your heart that almost stopped expecting gentle change. Not because you lost hope completely, but because waiting became familiar. Yet tonight, healing begins where waiting has been longest. Something huge is waiting for you, and it may begin with one simple realization. What has been heavy does not have to remain heavy forever. The chapter ahead is not empty. The silence around you is not meaningless. The pause you are living in is not the end of movement. Even now, unseen peace is doing quiet work. What once felt impossible to release is beginning to loosen. What once seemed too far to reach is moving closer than you imagine. Stay till the end, because the next truth is important. Some answers come only after your heart becomes still enough to receive them. You may have asked privately why certain things happened the way they did. Why some doors remained closed. Why certain people became distant. Why some efforts seemed unnoticed. But not every answer arrives immediately, because sometimes understanding comes after strength returns. And strength is returning tonight. Not loudly. Not suddenly. But deeply. You may not see everything at once, yet something within you already knows this night feels different. Do not skip now, because there are moments that pass once and leave a mark for much longer than expected. This may be one of them. A surprising turn often begins quietly. A meaningful answer often starts in silence. A once-in-a-lifetime shift often enters gently before becoming visible. And tonight, healing is entering like that, softly, steadily, without noise, yet with purpose. Something huge is waiting for you, because what has been building quietly is closer than you think. The heart that carried hidden pressure will not always carry it this way. The mind that kept circling the same thoughts will find new calm. The spirit that almost became tired of hoping will feel renewed again. Stay till the end, because the next part moves even deeper, and what is about to be revealed may connect with something you have been feeling without knowing how to describe it. But there is another reason you were meant to remain here tonight, because some healing begins only when the heart is ready to hear what it avoided for a long time. There are quiet moments when everything outside looks normal, yet inside, something deeper is asking for restoration. Not attention from the world, not noise, not applause, just peace strong enough to settle the places where tired thoughts have lived too long. Do not skip, because what comes next may feel as if it was written for a moment you never explained to anyone. You have carried certain feelings silently. Some were too deep to describe. Some were too personal to place into words. And some stayed hidden because you thought time alone would remove them. Yet tonight proves that healing is not only about time, it is also about what enters your heart when you least expect it. Something huge is waiting for you, and it begins where silence has been longest. There were times when you looked strong in front of others while privately wondering why certain things still touched your heart so deeply. You moved forward, but some questions remained behind your smile. You kept going, but certain thoughts returned when everything became quiet. Tonight, that quiet is becoming meaningful. Stay till the end, because this is where many suddenly understand why they were guided here at this exact hour. A hidden burden loses strength when peace finally reaches it. A restless thought becomes lighter when calm speaks louder than fear. A tired heart remembers strength when gentle truth enters. And tonight, gentle truth is arriving slowly, sentence after sentence, as if every word is carefully placed for the exact part of you that needed it. Do not skip now, because there are moments when the next line changes how the entire night feels. What if the delay you feared was actually protection? What if the silence you questioned was not emptiness, but preparation? What if what seemed still was quietly being arranged beyond what you could see? Sometimes what feels ordinary carries unseen significance. A simple evening becomes unforgettable. A few minutes become the turning point of an inner chapter. A message heard once stays in the heart much longer than expected. Something huge is waiting for you, because the part of your life that felt paused is not forgotten. The peace entering tonight is not temporary comfort, it is a sign that deeper restoration has already started. Even if your surroundings look unchanged, something within you is beginning to respond differently. You may notice it first in your breathing becoming calmer. You may notice it when certain thoughts no longer feel as heavy. You may notice it when hope quietly returns without asking permission. Stay till the end, because what comes after this carries a once-in-a-lifetime realization. Some answers arrive not when you chase them, but when your heart becomes still enough to receive them. There are things you tried hard to understand by force, but tonight understanding comes softly. No pressure. No noise. Only a calm reminder that what belongs in your next chapter will not arrive with confusion. It will arrive with clarity. Do not skip, because clarity often begins in the exact moment people almost look away. Something huge is waiting for you, and it may already be closer than your thoughts have allowed you to believe. The heart that felt overlooked is still seen. The prayer spoken quietly is still remembered. The hope you almost reduced is still alive. And tonight, healing is not asking you to become someone else. It is simply meeting you where you are, exactly as you are, in this quiet hour. Stay till the end, because the next part goes even deeper, and what follows may touch the one place you thought nobody could fully understand. And now the deepest part begins, because some moments arrive quietly and still carry more meaning than entire seasons that came before them. What if tonight becomes the night you remember because something inside you finally became lighter without anyone around you knowing why? Do not skip, because the next words are for the part of you that kept moving even when strength felt low, for the hidden place where you continued believing even when answers seemed distant. There are times when healing does not announce itself loudly. It arrives in stillness. It enters softly. It touches the heart before the mind fully understands what is changing. Tonight is one of those rare moments. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is connected to what your heart has quietly carried longer than most people realize. You have been stronger than many understand. Even when certain days felt heavy, you continued. Even when some moments felt uncertain, you still kept going. Even when your thoughts became crowded, there remained a quiet part of you that hoped tomorrow could feel different. That quiet hope was never small. Stay till the end, because what is unfolding now may explain why you were guided to remain here longer than expected. A shift often begins before visible signs appear. A new calm often arrives before circumstances fully change. A deeper answer often forms before the first clear sign reaches your eyes. And tonight, what is forming is not random. The part of you that almost accepted heaviness as normal is now being reminded that peace belongs to you too. Do not skip now, because sometimes one sentence arrives exactly when the heart is finally ready for it. What seemed delayed has not disappeared. It has simply been moving quietly, waiting for the right hour. Something huge is waiting for you, because what has felt unfinished is not abandoned. The closed feeling you carried will not stay forever. The unanswered space in your mind will not remain empty forever. The quiet longing in your heart has not been ignored. Tonight carries a rare softness, the kind that reaches places words usually cannot touch. You may feel it in the way your thoughts slow down. You may feel it in the way your breathing settles. You may feel it when an unexpected calm begins replacing inner pressure. Stay till the end, because the next truth matters deeply. Healing often begins the moment you stop assuming nothing is changing. There are unseen moments of restoration that happen before visible proof appears. A tired spirit becomes steady again. A restless heart becomes clear again. A heavy memory becomes lighter than before. And all of this can begin in a single night that looked ordinary before it started. Do not skip, because many people search everywhere for peace while missing the quiet moment where peace actually arrives. Something huge is waiting for you, and it may begin with realizing that not every important turning point comes with noise. Some arrive gently and still change everything inside. The next chapter will not carry the same weight in the same way. The next morning will not always feel like the previous ones. The next season will reveal why certain pauses had purpose. Stay till the end, because what comes next may touch the exact thought you kept to yourself when no one else was listening. Tonight is not asking you to force anything. It is simply asking you to remain present long enough to notice that healing has already begun, quietly, deeply, and more powerfully than you expected. Before this message closes, there is one final thing your heart needs to hear tonight, because sometimes the last quiet words become the ones remembered the longest. Do not skip, because what reaches you in these final moments may stay with you long after this night ends. There are evenings when everything appears ordinary, yet something extraordinary is taking place beneath the surface. This is one of those evenings. Nothing around you may look dramatically different, yet something within you is no longer standing in the same place where it began. Something huge is waiting for you, because the peace arriving now is not accidental. It is connected to everything your heart has silently carried, everything you kept inside, everything you hoped would someday feel lighter. You were never meant to remain trapped inside the same weight forever. The thoughts that repeated without rest do not own your future. The quiet ache you try to ignore does not define your next chapter. The waiting you endured does not mean nothing was happening. Stay till the end, because this next truth belongs deeply to tonight. Some of the most powerful healing begins at the exact moment a person almost stops expecting it. That is why this moment matters. That is why your attention was held here. That is why these words arrived now and not earlier. Because there are nights when even silence carries purpose. There are nights when stillness itself becomes an answer. There are nights when peace enters first, before explanation follows. Do not skip now, because the heart often understands before the mind catches up. Something huge is waiting for you, and perhaps the first sign is this: what once felt impossible to release now feels slightly lighter than before. You may not notice it loudly. You may not explain it immediately. But deep inside, a shift has already begun. The pressure is not as strong as it was. The fear is not speaking as loudly as before. The uncertainty is no longer standing alone, because calm has entered beside it. Stay till the end, because the rarest part of healing is realizing that it has already started while you were listening. What if tonight becomes the line between what weighed you down and what begins lifting you quietly? What if this exact pause becomes the reason tomorrow feels softer? What if the answer you waited for begins not with noise, but with peace? Do not skip, because sometimes the most unforgettable revelation is simple. You were being restored even when you thought nothing was changing. Something huge is waiting for you beyond this night. A clearer heart. A steadier mind. A gentler strength. A new morning that does not carry exactly the same atmosphere. And even if you cannot see the full picture yet, tonight has already placed something important inside you, a calm that arrived before visible proof. Stay till the end, because one final reminder belongs here. What is ahead of you does not need fear to enter, because peace is already preparing the way. The night is not empty. Your hope is not misplaced. Your quiet moments are not unseen. And these few minutes were never small, because healing often begins in exactly this way, softly, deeply, and without asking permission before changing everything inside.